Welcome to the new Workology Go Podcast. In just under 5 minutes, we'll get you the HR and workplace news you need before you start your day 2 times a week. Get ready, get set, and go with the new Workology Go Podcast.
Here are today's HR and workplace news headlines from the Workology Go Podcast. I'm Jessica Miller-Merrill. This podcast is sponsored by Workology. Having worked in HR for a number of years, I have found the smoking section of the workplace to be one of the most negative and hostile work environments. Thankfully, these smoking sections are decreasing in number as more companies are opting to become smoke-free. Smoking is not only bad for your health and your health insurance premiums, but also your productivity. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, also known as the CDC, estimates that smoking costs American companies approximately $300 billion, that's $300 billion, in health expenses and lost productivity. This means that, on average, smokers cost their employers nearly $6,000 a year, more than staff who don't smoke, according to a recent study in the Journal of Tobacco Control. Today's featured article comes from Little Things and is titled, "This Company Offers Non-Smokers 6 Extra Vacation Days to Make Up for Cigarette Breaks." I'll link to the article in the transcript of this Workology Go podcast episode. A Japanese company, Piala Inc., is providing their non-smoking employees an extra 6 days of time off a year to offset their smoking counterparts. These employees are taking smoking breaks that average 20 minutes a day. That's an equivalent of 3.7 20-minute smoke breaks a week in terms of time off. Personally, I think about being in HR, my employees were taking more than 3.7 smoke breaks a week. Is smoking causing this much lost productivity? On one hand, my HR brain wants to say yes. I've seen it with my very own eyes. These employees are leaving their desks to smoke, and it's keeping them from doing their job. However, I'm also a believer of what is called the Parkinson's Law. Parkinson's Law is the adage that work expands so as to fill the time which is available for its completion, which signifies that the more time we dedicate to a certain task, the longer it will take to complete it, even if we could have gotten the task done in a shorter amount of time. This seems to happen to me personally a lot. I give myself a deadline to write a podcast transcript like this one, which normally takes 45 minutes. But today, I'm under a time crunch with 25 minutes, and I'm finishing this podcast transcript on time. So based on Parkinson's Law, I should only devote 25 minutes going forward to writing and recording these podcast transcripts, because I got it done in 20 minutes less. Parkinson's Law tells us that we complete tasks or projects within our time frame, regardless if it's shorter or longer. Note, this doesn't hold true for things like commuting, air travel, or the pickup line at my daughter's school. But back to the matter at hand, which is smoking. Another area that is related and workplace leaders should become more increasingly aware about or concerned about is vaping and e-cigarettes. According to the CDC, in 2017, nearly 7 million adults 18 or older use e-cigarettes. I've linked to a vaping policy in the reference section of this transcript so you can use it to update your handbook. The sample policy comes from SHRM. Vaping doesn't necessarily take you away from your workplace because it's so easy to vape anywhere. However, several studies have found vaping to be more addictive and can also cause more lung damage than smoking alone, meaning that vaping should be a concern for employers from a healthcare expense standpoint. The argument for some vapers is that vaping has helped them quit smoking, but that's not the case for everyone. Some states, including Alaska, California, Delaware, Hawaii, Maine, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New York, North Dakota, Rhode Island, Utah, and Vermont, as well as Washington, D.C., broadly prohibit vaping in places where smoking is banned. Other states ban vaping in specific things and places like childcare facilities, state government buildings, schools, and enclosed workspaces. I'm not here to argue the lesser of two evils, whether it's vaping or smoking. They impact the employer in a variety of different ways. I do want HR leaders to be educated on the legal requirements and their rights as employers, and if they can allow things like vaping and smoking in their workplace. Workology now offers SHRM certification prep classes on your schedule. With over 36 hours of online training, a private Facebook group, and instruction using the SHRM learning system, we give you the resources you need. Visit workology.com/products to learn more.
To learn more about the Workology Go podcast, subscribe to us on Apple, Google, and Stitcher. Our podcast is also available on Alexa and Google Home. Learn more at workology.com/Go podcast and access this episode's resources, links, and reports for more information.